Okay, so today's topic is basically what are the most common errors you have as a team? Anyone want to share anything related to that?
Hey, Kanika, I guess I'll start.
Okay.
Um, from my side, I'm still seeing some team assignments uh, that haven't been updated. So I guess I just need everyone to do like another second, third, fourth layer of QA and make sure that you guys are working on assignments assigned to you per the most current sheet. And at the same time, don't hold any assignments that should go to someone else. So, it goes both ways. You don't want to be the bottleneck and hold up a task that should go to someone else. So I just want everyone to, make the time and review that you actually have all the tasks that are assigned to you. And then if they should go to someone else, you know, ask me or go ahead and reassign it.
Yeah, because in the past we have seen so many transitions. So obviously it might happen that there are some tasks in the base camp that are actually not assigned to the correct person, or maybe we skip assigning that to the correct person. So the person who is working on that client, or maybe the person who has worked on that client, is actually responsible to reassign that task if that is actually not assigned to a correct person. So suppose Danny was working on any of the client who is not now assigned to Rohit. So Danny and Rohit should be responsible to, I mean, Danny is responsible to assign that task to Rohit, and Rohit is also responsible to assign that task to himself, because you are handling those client and you actually were handling that client. So you people have to be little proactive, and if you see that the task that you are currently assigned to is that task belong to someone else, assign that task immediately to that person. Or maybe if a task is assigned to someone else already and now you are handling that account, so comment on that task that now uh, uh, I am working on this task after the team transition, so basically assigning that task to myself. So yeah, I mean, this is actually, we have seen that some of the base camp tasks are actually not assigned to a correct person. So if you are the analyst on the account, then you should be responsible, and the team lead is also responsible. Actually, team lead, if team lead somehow skip, or maybe because of the meetings or other urgency that we have seen these days, team lead somehow skip that, then the analyst on the account, or maybe the analyst who worked on that account, is actually directly responsible to assign that task to the correct person. Is that clear to all of you?
Yep,
Yeah,
sounds good.
Kanika, yeah.
Okay, cool. Anyone else have anything to share about this? Eric or Rohit, can you guys please take the notes?
Yep, Kanika, I'm
Yeah, I'm
taking.
kidding.
We both are taking actually.
Okay. Okay, so anyone else have any comment on this, or any common error that you people have seen? Um, any common error that you want to talk about, or maybe other people do not know? Um,
Uh, Kanika, I think you should. Can you hear me?
yeah.
So I think you should highlight like recently we had some discussion regarding the KPI sheet where we found that people are uh, uh, entering their tasks uh, again and again for in some specific conditions. So that is very much common. We have seen that duplicate entries were there. So if you can let the team know in what
Okay.
situation they can duplicate their entries, and in what situation they should not duplicate their entries.
Okay, so this is true. We have checked the KPI sheet of all the techs during the first week of this month, and we have got something that we want to discuss, and basically all the team leads would be discussing in one-on-ones with you guys. So basically what we are getting is, you must have seen your sheet highlighted in red. So basically, the problem that we are getting with your KPI sheets and most of the KPI sheet, um, one of the problem that is common is duplicacy. So suppose you are doing some task today, you are doing that task tomorrow, or maybe after a week, you are adding that task, the number of times you are doing that task in a month. This is actually valid for some of the link building tasks like competitor analysis. This is valid for the PR outreach process for a month. But basically, for other tasks, for other technical tasks like redirection or any other technical task, this is actually not valid. So, if you are adding your task twice or thrice in a month, which is actually not valid, we are actually highlighting those tasks in red and removing the scores that you have added for those tasks. And your team leads would be talking to you in one-on-one about that. So you should not be doing that for September. That might create an expectation that these would be your point, and then those point got deducted, and then you guys might think why team leads have deducted our point there. So this is the situation that we have gone through, and we have deducted points there because those were the duplicate tasks. So
I'm
yeah, I
sorry
mean,
to interrupt, Kanika,
sure.
yeah, but we have a situation. We do know that for these 404 errors or redirection tasks, sometimes there are around thousands of entries. So people are people are saying, or I'm also I do also think that sometimes it does take a lot of time. So for example, if there are entries, URLs like 2000, or even 1000 URLs, it does take time. So can we do it if for around 500 URLs a single entry can be considered, and for next 500 URL we can consider next entry? Is that possible? Because I think because it takes around 2 to 3 hours or 4 hours for 500 URLs.
If you talk about the redirection, if you check, we have allotted like 15 points. So we already compensated for the redirection there.
So you
But
mean we can we should enter or
you can do in batches. So suppose you are doing 500 URL today and tomorrow and after a week, but you can enter it once only and you will get a complete 15 points for that. So rather than doing that in three batch and getting a 5 point for one, we have compiled it into 15. So if you are doing a redirection task, you will get a 15 point overall. But you can do it like today or maybe after a month if you have a time for that. You can do after a month, so that can be a separate entry. So suppose you are doing 1000 URL this month and 1000 URL next month, so that would be two tasks. But for a single month, that would be a single task.
okay, great. I think a lot you have uh, you have given us a lot of highlight on that, and that is very much useful.
Okay.
Uh, Tanika, I have a question here. Suppose I have done a task yesterday and I did that the same task today. It's also. So just to keep a track of the things that I have done or the tasks that I have worked on, should I be entering that into the KPI sheet? Though I would mark that duplicate URL as a 0 point, but should it be kept into the KPI sheet so that it can be kept as a track?
If you want to keep that as a record, you can add, but do not add the score. And secondly, you can add notes for your TL that you have added this a second time, but basically you want to keep the record, or maybe you have done 1000 URL yesterday and 1000 URL today, but score yourself for a single time only.
Yep.
Yeah, and once you have the conversation with your team lead, you can explain them that you have added this for the track record, and also you have added that in the notes, but you have not scored yourself for that one. You can add that. But sometimes it happens that maybe team lead check the duplicate task and then mark the URL or mark that row red, but that doesn't mean, I mean, you have the explanation for that, so that's okay. You can add this for record. That's okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Yes.
I have a question like I have performed a task and that doesn't have any issue. Suppose I have performed a I have checked that project doesn't have 500 error or 404 error. So I created a task on the Basecamp and update the status like there's no issue found, and update that status on score task as well. So though those URL will consider as a task and for points or not?
If you have checked, then it will come under checked. If you have fixed, then it will come under fixed. The second thing is, if you have checked and there is no error, then there is no motive to create the Basecamp task for that. But yes, you can update the score task, and for the score task, you can earn a point.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anyone else for the KPI? Okay, so I would like to highlight some of the common errors that we have seen in those days, and you have seen that there were number of cancellations in June, July, and August. And basically, in August, we have number of cancellations, and that break the record of previous year as well. So that happens because of the quality issues, and we have seen some commonalities between these issues. um, so actually I want to just highlight some of them, so we can take care of them in the future. You have seen the issues basically comes when we have a new site launch and we have a redirection strategy we have to put in place for the development team, and the redirection strategy is not actually the good enough to uh, to keep this site in the same pace that it was. So for that purpose, Jordan created one video. If you guys have gone through that video, or if you guys have not gone through that videos, we have Romy training for that for all of you, so you can go through that training. um, so that is actually very important, that you all of you are well trained in your redirection strategy, and all the suggestions that you give for the redirection should be well tuned. So talk to your team lead if you need a guidance on them, on that particular strategy. They would be able to let you know, or they would be able to give you the training on that, and also go through the training that Jordan created. And if you have any question, you can talk to your team lead, and you can talk to us as well, me or Krishna. So this is one thing that we have seen: redirection strategy is not up to the mark, that actually annoyed some of the clients, and because of which some of the client leave CT, and that is actually not good. So going forward, we should have a bang on redirect strategy. And for that, if you need any kind of training, let your team lead know and let us know, and we can arrange that. Right?
Yep.
Okay. So the second thing that we got is when you implement filters in analytics. This is something very, very, very important. And we have seen if you implement filter wrongly, then uh, it sometimes completely disturb the tracking, or sometimes completely remove the tracking, or maybe analytics stop tracking because you have wrongly entered filter. So analytic filters have to be you have to be very careful when implementing the analytics filter. If you are not aware how to use those filters, let us know. We have one manual for that. We can share that with you. Uh, and yes, I mean, filters are very, very important. We have seen that in maybe in June or July, some of the account have seen a completely disturbed tracking, or the completely I mean, tracking completely stopped for some of the account, and which is actually not ideal. um, we lost tracking for 2 3 days for some of the account, and we lost tracking of the revenue, we lost tracking of the organic traffic, and reporting team was not able to find those missed days. And then this is something that is really crucial when we talk about sending the bi-monthly report to the client, because we lost 2 3 days of tracking, and that means a lot. If you compare that with the last month or the last year, it will come out to be negative, and client might question on that. So it is really, really, really important when you apply any filter on analytics, you should let your team lead know, and your team lead should QA that at the same time. It is also important, so that we should not have that kind of issue again. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. One thing that I have seen while checking the base camps, um, this happens during these specialized task implementation. When we have that system, we were not assigning tasks to the TL. We are assigning tasks to directly to DPs. That is actually very dangerous. So sometimes it happens that you miss something in the task, and you assign directly to DPs, and DP assign that task to development, and those get implemented. And because of that uh, uh, issue created, and clients see that issue, and then client question us, and that creates another situation for DPs. So when you complete any task, all of the SEO team, SEO analysts, when you create or when you complete any task, it is really very, very important that you assign that task to your team lead. So your team lead will review that task, and after the review, the team lead can assign that task to the concerned person. Maybe it can be DPs or the development. You cannot directly assign tasks to development or DPs. You have to assign tasks to your team lead. So your team lead will finish that task, review of that task, and then assign back to the correct person. Right? So it is really
Yes, Kanika.
important. Yeah, it is really important, and you have to look on to that. I mean, whenever you finish any task, whenever you have an update for a task, and whenever you want your team lead to first review your task so you can go further, you need to assign that to your team lead, not to DPs, not to development, but to your team leads. And your team lead will take a decision if they want you to update again, or if they want that, if they find that the task is complete and good enough to assign to DPs, The DPs is the next step. First step is assigned to your team lead, because your team lead have to review that task completely, and the next step is they will assign to the correct person. So this is really important that you have, I mean, I need your proactiveness there. I need you to assign those tasks to your team lead first, and then they will decide whom they want to assign that task to. So yeah, so these are the some of the things that I have reviewed. uh, you guys have to take care of. And yeah, I talked to the link building team today, and they have come to one thing that they are actually facing. I know that when you find out, this is basically for the junior techs, they are doing the PR outreach research task. So basically, when you do the research and when you find out the websites, um, basically what we are getting is we have to email those websites first, and then we got to know that these websites are actually the sponsored websites. I know that you go through the guidelines. I know that you go through the right for us page or the guideline page, and there is no indication that this website is a sponsored website. I know that this issue comes up, and because of which you and team lead, oh sorry, link builders are actually suffering. So for that purpose, link builders have created one sheet where they have mentioned all the paid website they have come across till now. So I'm sharing that sheet with all of you in the tech chat. And what you need to do is, when you do the outreach and when you find some websites, please check the duplicate website from this sheet. If you find something, you can remove that website, because link builders have come across that these are the website that are actually paid. They take the paid submission, they take the sponsored submissions. So when you when you complete your list and when you want to send that list to the link builders, you can check these websites or check for the duplicacy in your list. If you find the website is there in this sheet, you can remove that website from your list. So this will help link builders to at least I mean reduce that issue. Because if you come across like 60 websites, they sort it out and find out that 30 are good to go. They email those websites and got to know that 10 of those websites or maybe 15 of those websites are actually sponsored websites. So this will help them. If you fairly, I mean, remove those website already from your list, it will help them to actually come up with some good outreaches. So I already shared this with you. I will email that list as well to all of the techs, because all of them are not available this time in the meeting. So I will email that this list to all of the people in the tech team, and I will request you to check your website with this sheet. And if you find that this your website is already there, which you have added in the outreach spreadsheet, you need to remove that website first before handing over to the link builders. Okay. uh, yeah, these are the points from my side. Is there anything that anyone want to discuss, or anything that anyone want to comment, any thought, any feedback?
Um, I want to share something, Kanika, here.
Okay.
I just want to mention that because of this KPI system, I do think like because KPI system is very much important, but it is also very much important that only scoring marks is not important. Being a team member, being a responsible for a client, it is also important that each person should take responsibility or take the lead to handle a project as well. For example, a person should be knowing that what is actually going on with the project, how can we improve the project. It is not the senior people who should be responsible for the client's improvement or performance. Each team member of the for any particular client are responsible for the improvement of the client project.
Okay, so when we talk about this KPI system, this is something that Joel is very interested in, and he actually liked the volume of work that has been done when this KPI system come into place. So second thing that we have done to improve this KPI system is we have added the reduction point for the quality. If anyone is not doing a quality work, which is directly proportional to the client result, so if anyone is not doing a quality work, there is a reduction of point for that person. If team lead see any error from the analyst side, team lead can reduce the point. And if clients see error, then also there is a reduction. So we have improved the KPI system to enhance the quality. That is one thing which can improve the client result. um, so I mean, this is actually very much liked by Joel, and he want this system because he liked the volume of work that has been done after the introduction of this KPI system. So yeah, I mean, we are regularly enhancing that. We have reduced the point levels as well, so that people will not go only for the points and the quantity of the work. Recently, Jordan also said that we have to slow down a bit and we have to move towards the quality rather than the quantity. But you have to make sure that you reach your level of work. But yes, at the same time, you have to take care of the quality. And if you are not doing the quality work, your point will get deducted. That you have to make sure. So we are regularly enhancing that system, and it might happen that new thing will come up with it, this KPI system, but this KPI system will be in the place. So it will be in the place, but we will keep on enhancing that, and we will see that if there is anything where we can add into it to enhance the quality, and also if the ownership and responsibility of every team member to enhance that, we would work on that. And if we find something else to add into this KPI system, yes, we are going to do that.
Yeah, good to know.
Okay. Okay, so anyone wants to add anything to this?
Yeah, Kanika, just a comment in general for everyone. It's important to keep track of these and update your sheets as soon as you can. I mean, the best scenario is to update it right away as soon as you finish the task. The longer that you wait, the worse it is, the more inaccurate it can be. So, you know, and then always think two things. You know, you're doing the Basecamp task, updating your KPI sheets, but you know, don't forget to make the same updates in score test.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I think we have covered most of the point. I have added what I have seen in the, I mean, basically in the previous month, or maybe we have seen the in the Basecamp, or also in the KPI sheet, we have added all those stuff. So please keep in mind what we have discussed today. These are some of the important points that is really hampering the quality of the work that we do. So once you are up to date with these things, uh, when you do your work should be reviewed by your team lead. Team leads are there to review your work, and team leads are there to check your work and let you know that these are the problems with your work and you can improve in this area. This is actually important for all of us, for the client, for the person who is doing the work, and for the person who is checking the work. So you have to be really proactive whatever you are doing on or whatever you are working on. So yeah, these are some of the points that are really important that we have discussed today. So keep those points in mind, and if you come across any kind of issue, you have your team lead to discuss, you have your managers to discuss, and you are free. Feel free to talk to Rebecca if you want. So yeah, I mean, everyone is here to help you. So if you need help, just let us know, because I talked to Eric that day as well. I mean, if you need something extra, if you need some extra help, just let us know. If you are not able to complete your task on time, if there is anything that you want to discuss, just go on and ask for the extra help. There is no harm in that. So yeah, I mean, these are some of the important points that we have discussed today, and you have to keep those points in your mind. So yeah, that's it from my side, and I think we have already completed the company time as well. So let's wrap it up, and yeah, all of you have a very good weekend. Okay, we will talk on Monday.
Okay. Thanks, Kanika. And I'm preparing the YouTube upload of this call. So I'll have that ready for everyone.
Okay, thank you everyone for joining.
Okay. Have a good weekend, everyone. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.